Hey, Viking fans, this is Keith Millard, and you are listening to the One Bar and Lupicus Show. Go Vikes.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupicus Show. I am One Bar with Lupicus. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Vikings' weakest link. I would do the
weakest link.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I never watched that show, but I'm sure there's.
I think you are the weakest link.
Yeah, well, today we're going to find out who the Vikings, what position the Vikings' weakest link is. And I reached Twitter. I put something out on our channel. So we got some answers as well we're going to be going over.
We did get quite a few answers on that. That was the most notifications I've had in months. So thank you for that. Very, very impressive feedback. Everybody chiming in. Love to see what you guys think. And, you know, I know I went with the group. I don't know if you went with a certain position, but I had to go with the group on mine. But I'm going to let you go first.
Well, before we get into ours, let's just see what other people are saying. And before we get into that, remember, subscribe, like the channel. We're getting the 4,000, baby.
We're climbing. We're almost at the summit.
We're almost at the summit, which is a very gross beer. Let's get into this. Let's see. So a couple of kickers right off the bat. Everybody, you know, we've been burned so many times. That's just going to be an issue forever. So there's some kickers out there. There was a few surprises, though. PJ Spangler writes in defensive end and defensive tackle depth and linebacker depth. He sees a lot of weak links there.
I'm actually fine with the linebacker depth, and I'm fine with the D tackle depth. The D end, I would actually argue, do we have that starter opposite Dylan Hunter? We don't know that yet. Weatherly hasn't really shown enough. So Patrick Jones, maybe DJ Wanham can step it up in year two. So we don't know that yet. So I could see him saying, you know, the starting, what is that, the left defensive end?
That'd be the right.
That would be the issue, would be that one. So that is my biggest concern if you're looking at that group, but that's not my weakest link.
Yeah, I think when it comes to defensive end, I think somebody's going to step up. I just don't think we know who that somebody is going to be. So defensive end, defensive tackle, I actually got warm and fuzzies there. Corey Donnelly says depth anywhere. That's fair. We seem to be fairly good, top heavy, but gets pretty gross after that. Mr. Hennigan, that handsome son of a bitch, thinks our coaching is the weakest link.
Which, he never has been much of a Zimmer fan, but
no, but it's valid. It's like, you can't argue it. Let me see. There was a couple other ones. Let me go to the YouTube page quick. Supposed to be playing some music while I'm doing this. All right, here we go.
All right, cool.
So kicker, safety, wide receiver 3, a couple wide receiver 3s. Actually 4 wide receiver 3s in our comments. Kicking, and then also linebacker depth.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, you drafted Chaz Surratt, you got Troy Dye coming back, you got Blake Lynch, you signed what's his chops?
Troy Dye wasn't good.
I'm just saying he's a rookie. He's a 4th round rookie. If you're gonna be high on DJ Wanham, you should at least have some hope that Troy Dye still has something left in the tank. So I think there's plenty of depth there. That doesn't really concern me. The one interesting one though is safety, because after talking to Jay Tuck from the Cowboys, pretty much informed me that Xavier Woods isn't a very good player. And, you know, even he commented, he did a half-assed tackle once and just said, hey, you can't expect us to go 100% every play. So he's a guy who kind of lost favor in Dallas with the fans, and his play wasn't great. So I'm a little more concerned with the safety. Xavier Woods is what Jay Tuck was saying he was.
Yeah, and the wide receiver 3, that's valid. I mean, Smith Marset, he's exciting, but nobody's really stepped up. That will be one that plays itself out.
Yeah, so I think we can jump into it now. I think we've heard everybody's gripes and complaints and opinions, and now it's time to see what yours is.
Well, before
who is your weakest link?
Weakest link. Before I get in the mind, just some positions that were floating around before I really made the tough decision of the weakest link was actually the wide receiver 3. Safety depth as well, I think, is definitely a weakest link. If one of these goes down, one of these guys goes down, that's going to be very, very scary. But I'm going with one that I'm surprised nobody really mentioned, and that's the interior offensive line. I don't know how that could not have been addressed once. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited. Wyatt Davis, I'm on the Wyatt Davis train. I love that guy. I cannot wait to see what he brings. Ezra Cleveland switching spots again. It's exciting the thought that we might not see Dakota Dozier and Drew Samia, but not only those two, but Bradbury sucks. I mean, he hasn't lived up to that first round pick. He's one of the worst rated centers. And I'm starting to wonder, there's two ways you can go on Bradbury here. Either the guards have been so bad, it's helped Bradbury just kind of be in the shadows a little bit, or the guards have been so bad that he's overcompensating for them. So we're going to find out this year what Bradbury's got, but I think our interior offensive line is easily still the weakest link.
Well, I wouldn't call it so much the weakest. I would call it the most concerning, because you got a rookie probably going to be your starter. Ezra Cleveland moving to a new spot. I'm going to go O-line in general, because you got Christian Darrisaw, another rookie, starting. So we saw the Vikings go with the youth movement at cornerback last year, kind of bit him in the ass. Now they're doing the same thing when it comes to the O-line. And to me, it's a very concerning spot. So I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. But honestly, from a talent standpoint, I think we're better than we were a year ago. The experience factor is what worries me there. But you're right about Bradbury. We're going to find out one way or the other. We're going to find out just as bad as his guards, or are they bringing him down?
Well, even the fact, if we improve at what we from, I'm not comparing it to last year. We could be better than last year, and it's still going to be dog shit. So we'll see what happens. That's the one that I feel is the weakest.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the unit here. I'm going to go with special teams. You look at it from where it was last year. It was horseshit. It was horrible. We couldn't return. No return guy, no kick returner, no punt returner. Our punter, this is how he ranked. 20th in punts overall. That doesn't mean anything. His gross average was 21st.
Gross.
Long was 26th in the league. And pinned inside the 20, he did that 12 times. That ranked 30th. Britton Colquitt, third. He was a turd last year. We love him, but we can't deny he was a turd. You cut Dan Bailey, which you should have done. You bring in Greg Joseph. He's had one full season. He played in 14 games that year. He did hit 85% of his field goals, which isn't bad.
Isn't bad. That's like a that's amazing for Vikings fans.
The problem is they didn't even bring him back. He was he hasn't kicked since 2019, where he kicked in 2 games for the Tennessee Titans. Where has he been in that meantime? I don't know. So Greg Joseph, he hit 9 extra points back in 2019, didn't even attempt a field goal. So you got this kicker who's basically a glorified rookie, battling with the rookie that you picked up in Riley Patterson after the draft. So either way, your kicker's going to come in very inexperienced. Your punter was one of the worst in the league last year, and he's battling out with a guy who was in Major League Baseball or minor league baseball pitching, Zach von Rosenberg. He's going to compete with him to be the punter. And then your kick return game is completely up in the air again. Yes, we have some exciting options. Kenny Ngannou be your return man. Amir Smith-Marset could be your punt returner. But really, it's crap. It's unknown. So to me, this is clearly the weakest link. And this has been a thorn in the Vikings side for the last couple of years. And I think any Vikings fan just wants to see this whole unit figure it out and just be, how many games did they almost cost us last year with their blunders and their missed kicks, and it was gross. So again, I don't know if this unit's improved. I hope it is. They did bring some people in, but to me, this is still the weakest link on this team.
Well, what I like about this is the fact that there's hope, because they're completely changing it all up. I mean, we got a brand new kicker. Greg Joseph might have been bouncing around, but he was the guy to sign. I believe it was Ryan Suckup that went down. Tennessee brought him in, and then I think it was the same thing for Tampa Bay. So he was the guy, and when he's been out there, he's played well. So I got high hopes for him. Riley Patterson was one of the top kickers in college last year. And when you look at the return game, I mean, there's no way it can't be better. I mean, they drafted about everybody they drafted can pretty much return kicks or punts. So we'll see what happens. But I'm a little excited to see what they bring in. Andrew DePaula, hell of a snapper.
Yeah, maybe that's the one area they improved when they got rid of Austin Cutting and brought in Andrew DePaula. And they got a rookie to compete with him too. They signed some long snapper as well. So again, Vikings creating competition every single piece of the puzzle. So we'll see. But to me, I don't know. There's still way too many question marks in that whole unit. Just like my
unit, just like your unit. A lot of question marks. Comments. What you think is the weakest link for the Minnesota Vikings? Yeah,
let's hear some more. And again, subscribe, like the vids. We are almost there to almost to 3,200.
We got quite a ways to go to 4,000, but I like your positivity. Positivity.
I don't know. Sounding good to me. All right. Well, you might like that, but you like this even better. Avocados are toxic to almost every other animal except humans.